Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves.
How's it going, all you minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my overview of the Batman and Robin Eternal Omnibus from DC Comics. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the latest Batman Omnibus. This is Batman and Robin Eternal. We have a cover here by Tony S. Daniel featuring Batman and a lot of the Bat family, like Grayson over there, and Red Robin, and Red Hood, and actually that's Agent 37, and Damian Wayne, Robin, and Batgirl, and Orphan, and Azrael maybe, and a couple of other characters. Let's look at the spine here. You have Batman. It's the same image as that one right there by Tony S. Daniel. Batman and Robin Eternal Omnibus, and the DC logo there. And the Dark Knight's past may be his legacy's undoing. Back of the book explaining a little bit as to what this is and some hype about the book and the retail price with the ISBN down there. Retail price being $100. Now, before I take it out of its dust jacket, we're going to look at that here in a second. But let's look at where I'm putting this on the shelf. So this is where I'm putting it, right beside Batman Eternal. So right after Batman by Scott Snyder, 1 and 2, right beside Batman Eternal and before The Rise and Fall of the Batman. And the reason I'm doing that is because this fits into the New 52 continuity. Some of the stuff carried over, especially into The Rise and Fall of the Batman Omnibus, but this stuff was during the time of the New 52. So here, let's look at the flaps. This is a cool flap. Yeah, very nice right there. Don't know anybody that's going to... It reminds me of Mad Magazine, but I don't know anybody, what I was saying is, that's going to keep their books like this just to have the spine scale. It's a nice image, though, also by Tony S. Daniel. And before reading this, I strongly suggest reading Batman by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo Omnibus Volume 1. Actually, hold away until Endgame. Here, let's look at the book itself, the design. Batman and Robin Eternal Omnibus DC logo down there. And then another image of Batman and Robin. The other thing is, read Batman Eternal before reading this, because this is a direct follow-up to Batman Eternal. At least read Batman, Scott Snyder, and Greg Capullo until the storyline called Endgame. And then, if you want to expand, read some Teen Titans from the New 52, read a little bit of Nightwing, and then, of course, Grayson. I would only read the 12 issues of Grayson, like the first 12 issues, and then read this. Because we are looking at a different status quo for the Bat family. Different than what you're going to see in, or what you saw in Batman Eternal. Alright, so let's go ahead and crack it open and look at this beautiful artwork. I'll talk a little bit about the stories in here, like I said, without going too much into spoilers, but I do have to talk about the premise, and that is the first issue. So that by itself has some minor spoilers as to what's going on during this particular time. Okay, let's go ahead and crack this open. This cover has a real glossy finish to it. Here's your end sheets, another image by Tony S. Daniel. And your Batman and Robin Eternal Omnibus. This is pretty much the credits page. All the writers, all the pencilers, the inkers, the colorists, the letterers, and then the collection cover artists right there. Batman created by Bill Finger and Bob Kane. And then Batman and Robin Eternal. So in here is collected Batman and Robin Eternal 1 through 26, and then preview pages from Batman Endgame Special Edition number 1 that kind of sets this up. And the book has 624 pages. All right, moving forward, we are going to be talking about the setup of this. So we go back and forth and back and forth. There's like 3 different timelines that we're looking at. It's not as confusing as Crisis on Infinite Earths or Infinite Crisis or anything like that, or Flashpoint. We're just looking at the past and a little bit into the past, and then the present day here. So several years ago, the end of the beginning, Batman is coming into the Batcave all beat up, and he's looking at the computer screen, and he's just hearing some voices here through the computer, and he's looking at this blurred picture of this woman right here. Then we look at now, the present time, the beginning of the end. And we see Agent 37 right here. This is Dick Grayson, who is now working for the Spiral organization. So in the New 52 era, Nightwing gave up being Nightwing for a while to become a super sexy spy, as he calls himself, or other people call him, and work for this organization. So part of this organization, though, however, it brings him into Gotham, and then we have this just spread page of all the things that are to come, and he's saying, how, Bruce, how could you let this happen? Then we go back to several years ago, Batman again at the Batcave with this USB or fob, and then Dick Grayson as a young Robin. Now, don't get confused, because this is the New 52 era, and I always like to remind people it's a different... They've rebooted a lot of things, including the ways that Robins look. But Robin, this is his costume, even though he looks like Tim Drake. Tim Drake... This era is so confusing, I swear. Tim Drake could have been one of the Robins, but then was always Red Robin, was a sidekick, but then they're like, nope, he was just a partner. Whatever. Anyway, those are the setup pages. Dick Grayson's like, what are you doing here? It's going to be Batman and Robin forever, right? And he's like, yeah, sure. So then we kick it off with Cairo, Egypt, several years ago. We see a young man see his family get gunned down. We don't know exactly what's going on yet. But I'll let you know before I get to the end of the first issue to reveal who the killer is. Just so there's no spoilers, because I don't want to spoil... Like I said, there's 26 issues in here, and I'm just mainly talking about the first one as the setup. And then we go to another past event, but not as far back as several years ago. This is just then. It's Batman and Robin teaming up. They're going after Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow. And then we see Gotham City now. In Gotham City now, we have Dick Grayson again as Agent 37, part of the Spiral spy, is what he is. And he's talking to somebody named Poppy, and if you've been reading Grayson, you know who she is. She's kind of his oracle. Anyway, he's going after somebody that keeps referring to some mother, but he's getting some help. By the way, this is really cool. I love this. This is Dick Grayson, Batman's first partner, former Nightwing, current sexy super spy. And then we are introduced to Red Hood, a.k.a. Jason Todd, Batman's second partner, gun enthusiast, died on the job, got better. And then we see Red Robin, a.k.a. Tim Drake, Batman's third partner, IQ of 142, a bit of a show-off. So it's like introducing you to the three different Robins during the present-day story. Like I said, they were going after this person here who's talking about mother, and they don't know exactly what this is. And Jason Todd's like, hey, let's go out for drinks. And Tim Drake's like, yo, dude, I'm 16 years old. Now, this is the other important thing, because during this time... Bruce Wayne is no longer Batman. He has left someone in Gotham to be Batman, and I'm not going to reveal who this person is, but reading this will spoil who that Batman is. It's the Batman in the robot suit. So it's very important to note that's why you see Batman in what people call the Chappie Batman or the Bunny Batman. But Bluebird, a.k.a. Harper Row, never Batman's partner, not for lack of trying, makes wonderful toys. She was a character that was introduced through the pages of Scott Snyder's Batman. As a matter of fact, in issue number 1, she didn't have a name, though, and then later on you found out it was Harper Row, and then later on you found out it was Bluebird. And she wanted to be Batman's sidekick, and finally he said, yes, in Batman Eternal, he was like, I will take you on as my sidekick. I will train you. However, that never happened because now Bruce Wayne is not Batman, and you can find out through the pages of Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman what happened exactly. So Dick Grayson infiltrates a party, and he's having a flashback of his first outing. Not his first outing, I'm sorry. His first supervillain. Again, some things are being retconned through here, so just stick with it. And it turns out to be the Scarecrow. Batman and Robin, Dick Grayson in his past, are looking for the Scarecrow, and it's kind of a worldwide search, or so he is led to believe, because it goes deeper into something else that's going on. While at this party... at the same place where he has this flashback of where Jonathan Crane was, something's going on. These children that are part of this party turn on him, almost like the children of the damned, and they're like, hey, no big Batman to come save the day. Nobody's coming to save you. And they all draw guns, and they're all talking about Mother. So they start shooting at him. He jumps out of the way because, I mean, this is Dick Grayson we're talking about. He starts talking to Poppy to get him out of there. And it turns out that Poppy's also maybe being controlled or might be part of this whole mother scheme. All right. So then he's trying to get more help, and he gets attacked by this young person here. Uh, and it's a young lady, and we don't know who this is yet. Although, if you've read Batman for a long time, you probably could have guessed who this was. But she kind of kicks his ass and gives him a fob, that same USB that Batman had at the beginning, or one that looked very similar. And, he's like, what is this? Batman used these back when I was just a kid. Retcons, man. Batman had USBs when I was a kid? No way. So she leaves, disappears on him, and he's like, what the hell is this? So then we see Bluebird going back home, seeing her brother, and she's roommates with Stephanie Brown, aka Spoiler. And Spoiler's out right now, but when she goes to the bathroom, she runs into this guy right here. This is Orphan. That is his name. Now, back at the Batcave, Grayson is investigating what's on this drive, or this USB stick, or this fob, call it whatever you want to, and it's a list of people. Mother's children must be terminated before Phase 3. And it's a list of people like Richard Grayson, Jason Todd, Timothy Drake, Harper Row, and Cassandra Cain. And there's a message from Batman talking about how he's failed him, and how sorry he is, and how there was something that he should have done but didn't do. And he mentions the woman, or the girl, Cassandra Cain, how she was to deliver this fob to Dick Grayson in case something happened to him. Alright, so just in case you don't even want to know the spoiler to the what kicks off this adventure, I'm about to turn to the last page, because we go back to several years when this young man saw his parents gunned down. And the person that guns them down is Batman, and he's talking to Mother, and he's saying everything went according to plan. Pan on Kenny Homer Talk Pretty One Day. The hell am I talking about? Peter Pan? So that's what kicks off this journey, this adventure. So we have issue number 2 here. So the rest of the story is pretty much this mystery as to who Mother and the orphans are. What exactly is Batman's role in this? Are we led to believe that Batman was actually responsible for the death of someone's parents, making them an orphan? And is it the guy that was attacking Bluebird, this hooded guy? Or is it this young lady? And what's with the list? Or are we led to believe that Bruce Wayne at one time, Batman, was going on this worldwide trip to gun down these kids' parents that perhaps he had scoped out? Like, he could have used them as sidekicks. And he purposely killed their parents to make them orphans and take them under his wing. It goes into some dark twists and turns here that I didn't see coming, and it's one thing after another. Now, the biggest thing I will say is, this is called Batman and Robin Eternal, but it's basically about the Robins and this journey of trying to find out what Bruce did wrong, and is it all just a setup? Is it framing him, or what's going on? And not so much Batman, but I kind of like the dynamic here between the characters. I love Grayson taking over. Like, he's kind of the patriarch of this adventure, because you have Tim Drake, and you also have the character of Jason Todd. And the three of them working together, but then you also have Bluebird. You have this strange young lady that I'm not going to spoil who that is. Batgirl shows up through these pages. You get characters like Azrael that show up through here. Bane makes a return, or a cameo rather. And is it the Order of St. Dumas? Is it the same Azrael? So some things have changed and some things are the same. But yes, not sure why this one was. I guess because they couldn't call it Robin's Eternal. Maybe they tried and they were like, there's no way that's going to sell. We have to call it Batman Eternal. So that's what this is about. And all 26 issues, plus the pages of the extra, are collected in here, or the special rather, are collected in here. This is all written by James Tynion and Scott Snyder. Sometimes Tynion does the dialogue, but it's mostly other writers like Tim Seeley, it's Steve Orlando, Ed Brisson, Jackson Lansing, and Colin Kelly. The artwork, even though it's done by a bunch of different people, you have Tony S. Danielle, you have Scott Eaton, Paul Pelletier. Hey, I was just talking about that guy's art. Raul Fernandez, Stephen Pugh, just to name a few. it's all really tied together by the colorist that worked on this particular book. And that's mainly Tomio Morio and Gabe Eletab, just to name a few of the colorists. The story goes back and forth. You go through a flashback and you get back to present day. You have some surprising characters and some that I've already mentioned. But the biggest question is, I'm sure I'm going to be getting, is does Bruce Wayne Batman show up? That I will leave you to find out. And I just want to make sure that you knew that there's not a lot of Batman in here. But there's a lot of Batman in the flashbacks. But the main stories are basically Grayson taking on as the lead of this family. And I love that. I love seeing Grayson in charge. Even though the writing in the script is really good about, poking fun at him, that he's not as good as Bruce Wayne. And of course, the other question, since we saw him on the cover, does Damian and the Robins, what about Team Robin, do they show up? You can find out for yourself about those. But all I can say is, maybe. You do have covers, they're textless covers. And on the opposite side, they don't tell you what's issue you're on. And it's kind of the way that DC does things. There's no table of contents. So either you keep tabs on what issue or count how many chapters you're on, or you just go along for the ride and consider this just one big reading experience. But I did want to point that out. Let's look at the extras, and censoring that final page there to check out one of the variants here. It's the variant cover by Mikhail Janin. And then you have character sketches and pencil pages and cover sketches here. And then your end sheets. 624 pages, and this is what my eye looks like. Seems to be excessive blue in this one. It's something that I noticed. But to kind of give you an idea, holding it down, you can see right there the sewn binding. So it's got a little bit of gutter loss, but not a lot. Holding it down helps out. And the paper quality in this particular volume, a lot of it takes place at night. But whenever there are light colors, here, I can give you a perfect example without going too much. Whenever there's whites or light colors, there is some bleed through coming from the opposite page. So if that bothers you all, just wanted to make sure, cover all my bases. But that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in this omnibus, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was the content, the page count, and build of this Omni. Let me know in the comments down below if you plan on picking it up to finish out that 52 era. If you want to see Detective Comics from the new 52 era collected in omnibus format. And of course, what other Batman-related omnibus you want to see in the future from DC. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out our Patreon. It's a great way to support the channel. And we also have t-shirts and hats and mugs and stickers on Spreadshop. Links are in the description of the video. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.